My name is Reggie Parker, and I'm the adjutant of American Legion Post 346 in 4 Oaks, North Carolina. I've been a member long enough to have the privilege to have known quite well members of the greatest generation who served their nation in uniform during World War II. I believe they were the greatest generation. Their childhoods were spent in the hardship and poverty of the Great Depression, and their young adulthoods tested in the fires of the Second World War. We honor them, those who gave the supreme sacrifice during that conflict, and those who lived through it, but who have now reported to the Master Supreme Commander. They were great friends, both graduates of 4 Oaks High School, both members of the ancestor of today's United States Air Force and Space Force, the United States Army Air Force. Both were staff sergeant tail gunners on bombers serving in the European theater of operations, flying out of air bases in England over occupied Europe and Germany. Both of their earthly remains now rest in the same cemetery near each other in 4 Oaks, beside their respective brides. Everett Barefoot was a tail gunner on a B-24, and he and his crew managed to fly the full 25 missions they were allotted. Everett said they were a replacement crew, and were told they were replacements because everyone before them had been shot down. On his first mission, as they entered enemy airspace, German anti-aircraft fire flak burst all around them, showering their plane with steel fragments. The pilot made a communications check, making sure that everyone's headsets were working. When he called Everett's name, he got no response. He went around checking again, and when he got back to Everett, there was still no reply. So he sent the co-pilot back to check on him. The pilot came back and reported that Everett was okay. He was just too scared to talk. We're fortunate to have Everett's flight log detailing each of his 25 missions. There was a reason why Everett was scared. Between the 10th and 11th missions, this is Everett's flight log. On November the 26th, 1944, he stated, in hitting an oil refinery at Merseburg near Hanover, our boys were hit by intense flak before and at the target. They were then jumped by 70 enemy air fighters. We lost 5 bombers from our group and about 32 from other groups. Mission 12. Marshalling yard at Munster, moderate to intense flak. No enemy fighters, good fighter support. Bombing altitude 23,500 feet. Top 2 bombs in the right front bomb bay hung up. Top one salvoed and jammed between the side of the ship and the second bomb. Had to step out on the catwalk, lift the nose of the forward one, and shake loose number 2. Never so scared in all my life. Mission number 14. Railroad 12-24-44, Railroad at Bitburg, in support of 1st Army ground troops. All-out effort, visual and effective bombing, scared stiff today for some reason. Light flak, no enemy fighters. Light support, 2 bombs hung up, and the same as number 12 walked out on the catwalk and released them. These missions get tougher. Douglas Johnston was a tail gunner on a B-17 bomber. On his 3rd mission, his plane was hit by anti-aircraft fire as it entered its bombing run on Bremen, Germany. The flak tore through and disabled one engine and ripped through the fuselage, injuring several crew members, including Douglas. The bomber carried on through the bombing run, dropping its bombs. On the return to base, it lagged behind the rest of the squadron due to its engine loss and was attacked by enemy fighters, killing waist gunner Kermit Smith, second from left, bottom row, next to Douglas, and navigator Ben Dorton, top row, third from right. The pilot lowered the landing gear and wagged his wings, letting the fighters know he was abandoning ship. The fighters peeled off, and the remaining crew members parachuted out. Douglas landed in a German farmer's potato field. The farmer was waiting for him and held Douglas at pitchfork point until Nazi soldiers came and arrested Douglas. For the next 17 months, Douglas and his surviving crewmates were German prisoners of war. Shortly before their release from captivity, Douglas discovered that one of his Four Oaks classmates, Earl Johnston, was also a prisoner in the same Stalag POW camp. They were eventually rescued. One of their liberators was Donzia Bailey, another of their Four Oaks classmates. Admiral William Bull Halsey, renowned Pacific World War II naval commander, said, "There are no extraordinary men, just extraordinary circumstances that ordinary men are forced to deal with." Everett and Douglas met these extraordinary circumstances and dealt with them well. It was an honor for me to have known them and to have considered them my friends. Rebecca Stevenson, will you please stand? This is Douglas Johnson's daughter, Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca.